pretty, you know, environmental perspectives. And I feel like he puts emphasis on things like rain on the street. Like, he puts emphasis on the car you're driving. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, in the Training Day, right? He set up the movie, right? The morning in the cafe, but as they're walking to the car, he's like, you're hearing the horns honking, right? They're jaywalking across the street. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then he does a very cinematic like shot of the lowrider, right? Of his Monte Carlo. And he lets you grasp the energy of that car and who drives this car. And then he walks into it and he tells him, you know, this is the office. And it's just like, he like wraps the environment. He wraps you in the environment and then he gives you the characters.
No, that's on point. Yeah. That Training Day was, you know, influential just for scenes within the movie that feel, you know, cinematic, like you said, drawn environment. So I think it's an A+ list. I'm saying you got the guy wrote Gladiator, which is an incredible story.
Who?
John Logan.
Yeah.
So I wasn't familiar with his work, so I looked into that, saw what he read. You know, his work speaks for itself, but that just lets you know that the family got on board. They wanted the right people to do it the right way.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Of course.
And so we have Jafar Jackson, who is the nephew of the real Michael Jackson.
Jermaine's son.
Jermaine Jackson's son. Direct family ties. So I wasn't familiar with Jafar Jackson. I looked at some of his clips. So he's a singer, I guess, right now.
Bro, I'm gonna keep it real. I might have maybe saw some Jafar stuff on maybe some some super fan pages. There's some fan pages that'll tell you what his nieces and nephews eat for breakfast. Like, they know everything about these people. You feel me? I'm not deep into it like that. I maybe saw him one time, but you know, when they did start letting people know we're doing the MJ biopic and we saw it was him, I thought it was super cool.
I always think it's cool when you can get some family members. Right. If it just works like that organically too, right, for it to happen like that, I think it's something special about it. So let's get back to this.
But hold on, let me add this. Let me add this with the Jafar, right?
Go ahead.
I think when you look at Michael's nephews, right? And I think they had 3T, Tito's Sons back in the 90s. They had an R&B group. And I've seen some of his family members. They all have the same essence. They all have that soft voice and the very manicured look. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's almost like
and they're all singers. So for them to pick Jafar, they could really throw a rock in the air on all his nephews, and whoever it lands on, they can play him. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the Bob Marley estate where everybody's singers and stuff. They got the grandsons, the granddaughters singing, and
right.
It's great.
Yep.
So getting back to when opening night comes, whether they drop it all, you know, they change the game, they drop a 4-hour movie night